Hey there YouTube, Paulus here once again. I'm here to talk about altered sweep arpeggios. It's very important. This is the part 2 of a many-part series of lessons that I'm doing for YouTube. You can find part 1 down in the video description below. So after you've caught up with that video, join me with this capricon right here. And let's get started for those of you who have already watched part 1. Last time we were talking about the minor sweep arpeggio and adding things to it to make it even longer and even more epic. Well, this time I thought I would switch to the 7th string so that we could have ourselves some fun. Now, I have a song on my second solo album called The Maxim of Hassan, which was about, nothing is true, everything is permitted. And on that song, I have 7-string sweeps. That's kind of ridiculous because you would only have 7 notes had you only played 1 note per string, so it isn't really circular because you turn into 14 notes, and you can play in 7/8, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be circular, 4/4, bobbing your head kind of thing. So I decided to add some notes. So for this 7-string sweep arpeggio, we're going to be going 15 on the low B, 13 on the E, 17 on the A, 15 on the D, 14 on the G, 15 on the B, high B, and then 13, 17, 16 on the high E string. Now it's quite circular, but we are repeating notes on the bottom in order to keep it that way, in order to keep it 4/4, which is the timing that we're going for. We can always change things and start to add things because that's when things get even more interesting. But for me, in that song, I decided to just move the shape around. So I went like this. Same shape, moving it up 3 frets. And then moving it down to the 12th fret, same shape again. And this is where I needed to change the tonality I was going for. So I made it major. So that means we are going to go 11 on the B, and then 10 on the E, then 13 on the A, then 12 on the D, and then 10 on the G, then 11 on the B, and then 10, 13, 12 on the high E string. And so that kind of is pleasing, and because it's a circular kind of thing, you know what I mean by circular now, I hope. It sounds pleasing. It's a good way to end on a major note. It makes the listener kind of, oh, okay, good. Thank goodness it didn't continue with their goddamn shredding. So that's the kind of thought process I went through in order to achieve that lead, that beginning, that intro of the song, The Maxim of Hassan. So try with the metronome if you like. You can definitely back up the video and get the fret names all over again. And it is just a matter of repeating the shapes, which is really nice. The guitar is meant to have shapes repeated over and over again, at least when it comes to shreddy stuff, right? It keeps it simple. And we're not in any special tuning. We've been in B standard or E standard the entire time. But anyway, I'm going to play it once through and have a listen. Pretty great, right? I was pretty impressed with myself when I got that. I had been trying to make 7-string sweeps sound circular for so long, and I just couldn't figure it out, and I realized, just use octaves, dude, because that's exactly what's going on. Let's break down that first sweep in a theory way like we did in the first video. That 15th fret, what do you think that is? That's a D. And we're going to an F. And we're going to the octave of the D. And we're going to an F. And then we're going to an A. And then after that, another D. This is all about the D for some reason, right? Then F. And then we're going to yet another A. But we have to hit that G sharp in there, just to give it some more flavor. That G sharp actually makes it sound a little bit more diminished, which is why I went for that tonality. You can always replace that note for a different note, and let's try that now. So we're going to get rid of that high 16th fret there in the sweep, and we're going to move it. We're going to tap something else. How about 22nd fret? Okay, so here we go. Kind of weird. It's hard to play that because you're tapping and you have to pull off, and it's kind of uncomfortable to play with. You can totally do that. Another way to play the sweep is to kind of change around the dynamic of that high register area. So I'm going to change the way that I'm playing it. See if you can tell the difference. I'm going to play the first way first and the new way second. Now the lowest note, that lowest D that we were playing before, doesn't need to be repeated twice to be kept circular, because we added an extra note up top. Isn't that clever? Clever girl. So let's take that idea and move it around a little bit more in that same phrase where we start the shape on the 15th fret, 18th fret, down to the 12th fret. That 17th fret on the major shape probably wasn't the best idea. I think 18th fret would have been a bit better. More pleasing, but it's just a little bit more mournful. So let's just go with that instead of saying that it's a mistake. So that all being said, guys, the 7-string guitar is definitely epic at sweep arpeggios. And if you have one, I really hope that you got something out of this lesson, because I had been fighting for a very long time to figure out, okay, well, what can I play that will sound, you know, pleasing to the ear, you know, bouncy, fun, and is, you know, not impossible to play. I'm just adding a tap in there basically, right? And I hope that you subscribe and stick around for the next few videos in this series. I'm enjoying this. I think it's a good time. So one more time, I'm gonna play that last revised version of the Maxim of Hassan, and that's gonna be that. Thank you.